Hello again and welcome to My TV Ones from the Desk of. My name is Tim Moody. I am the Public Information Officer with the Randolph County School System. I'm here with our Superintendent, Dr. Stephen Gainey, and as we do each month, we sit down together and we talk about some of the great things that are going on in our school system. We always welcome this opportunity to get out in front of you folks and keep you updated in the things that are going on. Dr. Gainey, this is our first interview together since school began back on August 29th. So if you would, just in these first few weeks of school, just give us an overview, your impressions of how things are going so far.
Well, I think we've had a good start to the school year. It's been very smooth. The first day we had 16,923 students show up for school, and since that time, as of yesterday, which would have been the 20th of September, we've gained 307 more students, so we're now at 17,230 students. Quickly approaching the 20th day of the school year, so our numbers are coming on in at a good rate as we need because as you know, the student numbers impact our or influence our resources from the state. Started the school year with only 5 teacher vacancies in core classrooms. I thought that was exciting that the HR staff had worked very hard during the summer and in the last half of the summer as some of the vacancies developed later in the summer. But the kids have come in motivated. The teachers seem to be really engaging their kids in learning, and the first day of school kind of looked like we've been in school for several weeks, and that's how it's kind of gone from there. Just kids are in routine. The parents have done a great job of what people don't realize is when school starts back, we're putting 166 buses back on the road that haven't been out there for 2 months. We've got a lot of student drivers out there that haven't been out there for 2 months, and parent drivers who are bringing children to school. So I think it was just a great community effort countywide and been a very positive start. I've been in 27 schools during these first few weeks, and again, go in classrooms and it looks like they've been in school for 6-7 months. So just excited about the possibilities for our kids.
So Dr. Gainey, today as we sit here at September 21st, back on September 1st, the state released some very important data regarding school grades, and as you well know, a lot of numbers, percentages, a lot of information to sift through. May not make a lot of sense to a whole lot of people, so I thought you might like the opportunity to spend a moment with that data and give some clarification to what it really all means.
Well, Tim, you're right. On September 1, we had some important data released by the state, and it's always a good chance to see where your schools are. And really when that data came out, there were 4 key data points that we talked about with our principals, and one of them was the performance composite for the school, which is the percentage of students at or above level 3 on EOC or EOG test. Another one was whether your school met or exceeded growth. The third thing was our data point was your school's letter grade. And then a piece that's being missed a little bit and needs some more attention is with that school letter grade, the 4th item to look at is your school's number grade. And so I can tell you by looking at our school systems data, at all the schools, I feel we are getting better. We're moving in the right direction, and it's due to a lot of great work by the teachers and the principals and central service staff. The students are doing a great job, as are the parents. And I want to say, the parents sometimes get left out of this picture when people talk about school performance, but we're very fortunate here. We have great parents in this community, and they get their kids ready for school, and they bring us kids who are ready to learn, and they expect us to work hard with their kids, and that's a great situation. So I think everybody's contributing to this continuous improvement, and we've talked to our principals about continuous improvement, and we've said we're not interested in competing with this group or that group. We want you to try to get your school better from where it is. And so a phrase that's used a lot with the principals is move the needle forward and minimize any backward movement. And so, when I look at our student performance, our school performance from 15-16, I see that we had an increase in the number of schools who met growth. We have an increase in the number of schools compared to the previous year who moved their number grade forward. We had an increase in the number of schools who moved their performance composite forward compared to the previous year. So a lot of things jump off the paper at me, but there's one there's one trend that's really intriguing to me and makes me feel, just really grabs my attention. And when you go back to the 12-13 school year, 26 of our schools had a performance composite below 50. And only 2 of our schools had a performance composite of 60 or greater. You go to 15-16, only 4 schools have a performance composite below 50, and now 12 have a performance composite of 60 or greater. So I really believe our staff at the schools, the teachers, the principals, the students, the parents have really worked hard collectively with support from Central Service to change the landscape in our school performance in the school system. So I'm excited about where things can go in the future. There is one point about all this that has really even caught my attention, maybe more so this year than in the previous couple of years. When we talk about the letter grades, I think it's important to look at the number grade that goes with the letter grade. And the reason I say that, Tim, is that our letter grades were pretty flat. We had 1 A+ school in 14-15. We had 1 again in 15-16. We had 6 Bs in 15-16. We had 5 Bs in 14-15. So not much change. We gained a B school. The number of C schools was 20 in 14-15. It was 20 in 15-16. So it's kind of flat. We don't have an F school for 15-16. We did have one in 14-15. But when you start looking in and you say, well, those letter grades seem flat and just very consistent from one year to the next, there's a number grade that goes with these letter grades. And it's very intriguing to me to see we had a school go from the lowest C of 55 to the highest C of 69. We had a school go from a 62 to a 69. We had another school, I'm just thinking about some things I saw, we had another school went from a 55 to a 62. So we had some schools change their number grades a great deal, even though they may have stayed in the same letter grade range. I think it's equally important to note that we had 6 schools that were either a 68 or a 69, and I think if I'm remembering right, when I figured it up, 9 points total, on the number grades would have made those 6 schools Bs. Right. And so we'd have had 6 less Cs. So, it's very exciting when you look at that, and I hope the state will continue to not just stop on the letter grade, because teachers across North Carolina and principals across North Carolina and students and parents deserve credit for the effort they're making to help our schools get better. And we're missing something if we're not looking at those number grades. And so I've made a point to put that in my discussions of these letter grades, because I'm not sure I picked up on that the previous 2 years when the grades came out, but there was some pretty impressive jumps in this school system, and I know we're not the only school system that had some impressive jumps. So I hope the state will begin to showcase that number grade issue as well.
This past Monday night we had our monthly Board of Education meeting, and as we do at each of our meetings, we have a number of awards and recognitions and certainly some business to take care of. I know we made some administrative announcements Monday night, so if you would update our community on those.
Well, we did. We had 2 announcements. Justin Pugh, he's a great kindergarten teacher at Trinity Elementary School. He is going to be an assistant principal at Level Cross in Franklinville. He'll be 50% of his time at Franklinville Elementary and 50% at Level Cross Elementary. Justin's a great educator. I've known Justin, I've been here 3+ years, and he's one of those that I met early on. I've been in his classroom many times. He's ready to be an administrator, and I'm excited for him to have this opportunity, and excited to see what he's going to do in that role at those 2 schools. The other change we had is Melanie Ritchie. Again, just top-notch educator and leader. She's been at Ramsey Elementary School as an assistant principal for several years now, and she's going to go over to Randolph Middle, and it's going to be a great situation. She's been with Tammy Abernathy, who is a great principal, and as I told Melanie the other day, she's going from one great principal to another. Tracy Dawes at Randolph Middle has a very successful career at 2 different middle schools as principal, so I'm excited for Melanie, for what she's going to bring to Randolph Middle, and also for her to have the opportunity to work under another great principal at the middle school level. So those 2 changes, we're only going to get better with those changes, and so that was exciting for the employees and exciting for our school system.
So a moment ago I mentioned the awards and recognitions from this past Monday evening at the Board of Education meeting. And because this was the first board meeting of the new school year, we recognized our Star 3 students, which is always a highlight. But we also introduced some new awards, our RCSS Star Employee Awards, which was exciting to see these handed out for the first time. So what were your impressions of that as you saw these employees come forward to receive recognition?
Well, Tim, I think anytime we can recognize employees, we need to. I was excited when this idea of the employee award came up a couple months ago, and I know there's been a committee working with you to plan this out, and it's just exciting. I mean, what our employees do for schools and for kids every day, anytime you can recognize them and showcase them and you know, be showcased in front of a room full of people, that's great. And so I appreciate you and the committee that planned this. I also want to say a big thank you to Vicki Gallimore, you know, our sponsor for this award. She's agreed to sponsor it, and every time someone receives this award, they get a nice plaque, like with our Star 3 award with the students, and you know, the Courier Tribune's been sponsoring that for, now we're going on year 4 with them. But I just want to say thank you to Vicki Gallimore. I mean, she's a great example of what our community is about. I mean, she is supportive of schools in so many ways, and I just want to say a big thank you for her stepping up, because it tells you when somebody agrees to sponsor something like this, it is another indicator of the value the community places on our employees. They know that our employees are special and do a special job every day. So congratulations to everybody who received awards the other night, and can't wait to see many more employees recognized over the years.
So Dr. Gainey, one other announcement that came out of Monday evening's Board of Education meeting was the extension of your contract by our board members. A special honor for you, and I'll give you a moment if you would just speak to that.
Well, the biggest thing I can say to that is thank you to the Board of Education, and you know, it goes back to when I started interviewing for this job. When that started, you know, this was a place that was very exciting to me. When I thought, you know, I saw a place that, you know, there was great potential here, great foundation here, and I still believe the sky's the limit for this school system, and I really enjoy working with the Board of Education, and they've been very good to me. And you know, thank you to them. Thank you to a great community and a great school system that has been nothing but welcoming to me and my family. We love living here in this community, and so that was an exciting moment for me. Again, I think the sky's the limit for this school system. We're going to keep working hard. But I do enjoy working with this board, enjoy working with the school system and community. So that was, you know, every board meeting we have a lot of important information we deal with, and I'll just tell you, that was just an exciting moment for me personally.
So a moment ago, in one of the responses that you gave to my question, you referenced a quote that I've heard you say many times regarding moving the needle forward. And I've been in enough meetings with you, and I've seen you lead meetings, and I know the slogans that mean a lot to you, and that's one of them. But there's another one that I've heard you use often. You've got it on the whiteboard in our boardroom, and it's a quote from Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski. I want to give you an opportunity to share that with our community, and why that is important to you.
Well, Tim, the quote you're referencing is the quote that says, "In order to be a winner, you have to look for ways of getting things done and not for reasons why things can't be done." And to me, it's very consistent with things we've talked about with our principals. We've talked about continuous improvement, and continuous improvement, if you're going to really commit to it, you've got to commit to it. And it's not, well, this was good, but not good enough. You know, I told a principal, you moved your school forward 0.5 points on the composite. That's improvement. That's improvement, just like moving it 10 points forward. And when you start looking at that quote, which I've joked with some groups and said, hey, it keeps following us around. Mm-hmm. Well, I believe in that. I believe in you can't worry about what you don't have. You got to keep looking for ways of getting things done. Because getting things done means contributing and preparing kids for positive futures. And public schools don't have a choice there. That's our job. That's our role. And so you can't get caught up in what these tough budget years have or haven't done for school systems. You get your budget and you have to move forward, because you know the reality is when these children come to school, they don't know what happened with the budget over the summer at the state level or even a local level. They're coming with expectation of learning. And so, you know, Tim, as a leader of a school system, I don't think I'd be doing my job if we were doing anything but looking forward and looking for the idea of the sky's the limit. If we weren't looking beyond and where can we go with this school system, I don't think I'd be doing my job. And so that quote kind of captures a lot for me. And it's probably, truth be known, it's probably where move the needle forward and minimize backward movement. It probably spun right off of that, because I think the two are very parallel. You know, don't worry about what you don't have. I've said this many times. I'm not a glass half empty person. I'm a glass half full person. And so, I was talking to central office leaders today, and I made the comment. You can pull out of the student data, performance data, whatever you choose to pull. I can pull some negative out of there. I prefer to look at it as areas we need to work on. And so, let's keep this ball moving. Let's keep working as towards continuous improvement, not get hung up on what we don't have. And I think that's what that quote does. It keeps things in that frame of reference for me.
We've had a great start to the school year. We've got a long way to go, but a lot of good things are happening. It's always a privilege to be able to sit down and talk about the things that are happening and share these things with our community. Again, we thank Randolph Communications each month for giving us this chance, and we look forward to seeing you again next month. Thank you so much.